Yo, hep cats and jive turkeys, it's Ted here from Mob Rules. Man, I'm super excited. We got a copy of Deathwatch Overkill here, and I don't know, I've been looking forward to this. Not as much as Betrayal at Calth. I mean, that was pretty amazing. I think that kind of just took the gaming world by storm, but this is pretty badass. Like, I've always been a fan of the Deathwatch. I mean, I played with them back when they had rules, and later had to throw them in as my Stern Guard. So the prospect of being able to use these guys as a legitimate Deathwatch again, pretty exciting. Not only that, I'm an Iron Hands player, and I did see that there's an Iron Hands guy in there, so if I want a sergeant, that's my broseph. So, now I hate to say this isn't a full unboxing. I mean, I'm going to go through the whole box, but, yeah, so I accidentally, got a little excited last night. I took the shrink wrap off and took a look at the book ever so briefly. So, even though it's not a full unboxing, it's pretty much like a 90% unboxing. But let's just go ahead and pretend that I didn't. So I'm going to fake some excitement and enthusiasm for you. So here we go. We just took the shrink wrap off. All right, is the ruse working? First thing we see here, we get the Deathwatch Overkill book, or the instructions. Man, tons of little bros. Like, kind of looking at these, I'm not thinking that we're going to be seeing these as the beginning of an army. I mean, I know that there's a white dwarf out there saying that, or showing how you can use this in your Tyranid force. But right off the bat, I mean, it's possible. I think like maybe this might be like a test bed, but I'm just looking at like the options, and I'm just not seeing a whole lot of different options. I mean, you do have the grenade launcher, you have the auto gun, which is really cool. And maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I was wrong about Calth, so let's keep that consistent, and hopefully I'm wrong about this too. But I mean, I'm really excited to see like the aberrant. Like, that's just kind of a neat idea. I don't remember that back in the day. I remember first and second generation hybrids. We got some genestealer pure strains. This is kind of dope. The Magus and the Primus. I don't remember the Primate. I vaguely remember the name, but and then the Patriarch. It's not a Broodlord, it's a Patriarch this time. It kind of has like a weird touching his brain thing, like a superhero movie. Oh, sorry, I read books backwards for some reason. I don't know if it was what it is, but I like to do that. But anyway, here we have, looks like, the White Scars biker. What I'm noticing here are some of the shoulder pads. I think like the chapter-specific shoulder pads are not attached to the model readily. So it looks like you could probably do some real fast kit bashing to make it happen. So if you want, if you don't want to have a White Scars biker, it looks like you could just change it up real fast. And even like looks like the back plate and the front plate of the torso, it looks like you might be able to swap that out real quick too. So you just completely get rid of his head and all that jazz. It looks like his head is attached to the front. But and I'm kind of noticing that for most of these. It looks like the Space Wolf guy is a little bit different. Like his chest doesn't, I mean, even though it's detached, it doesn't look like it quite snaps together the same. But yeah, okay, all right. Here's something that kind of gets me a little bizarre. All right, so these guys are supposed to be like the Black Ops, like from the stories that I've read. They're supposed to be able to sneak in and like take out that, like the leader of the cult, or the orc weird boy or something like that, without anybody noticing, in and out before anybody notices. Yeah, it always gets me that like here we have a Terminator with a with this torch on top of his head. I don't get that. Like, nothing smells sneaky like quite like having a torch on top of you. I don't know, but I guess when you're running around in Terminator armor, you're probably not caring about sneaky. You're probably just bringing up the heavy guns. Excited that there's an Iron Hands guy in here. Being an Iron Hands player, that's pretty ill. I'm excited to look at that bionic leg. So yeah, I'm super cool. Here we have the rule book. I was flipping through here a little bit earlier, and I noticed that probably half of it, if not over half of it, about half of it is missions. So that's really cool. I mean, there's nothing like worse than starting a game, where there's really very little content. It's mostly rules, and then you're like, all right, well, just enjoy the 2 missions that we have. So I mean, this is super cool. I think there's how many are there? I don't know. Let's see, number 8, mission number 9. Is there a number 10? Now it looks like it stops at number 9, but you know, if we see the same thing as Betrayal of Caliph, we'll probably see some White Dwarf articles with more missions in there, just keeping people interested. So that was super cool. Yeah, so there's some great pictures of the guys themselves, neat descriptions of how their guns work. The only thing I actually did read was the Iron Hands guy's bio, so it's cool to see some like background on these guys. You know, it's not just like a sentence or two. So I'm excited. This should be pretty cool. Yeah, it's kind of feeling like Space Crusade, if you remember that, or Advanced Space Crusade, just a little bit, but you know, with like its own tweak. Okay, see, I told you there was a little bit of unboxing going on here. I haven't taken the shrimp grab off the board yet, so let's see how that looks, man. I should have had my X-Acto knife, and I trimmed my nails earlier today. A little hygienic. It's rare. Even took a shower this week. That just never happens. Just kidding, guys. Not that it matters. It's the internet. So double-sided. It looks like there's some raised edges to kind of tell you like where everything is. What's kind of neat, it might be a little bit hard to tell, but there's some really awesome photoshopping going on down here. So you can kind of see like the lower levels of this. I don't know what it is, if it's like a hive world or if it's like a space Hulk or something that you're going through. Oh yeah, here's just no walkway whatsoever. Maybe there's a little bit of walkway here and here, here and here, but then it's just like open ground. So that's kind of cool, man. There's lots of... I would love to see like some plastic terrain like this. That would be really dope. I know I can make it, but hold on a second, guys. So now we're on to the sprues and the bases. Hello, bases. There's some bubble wrap. It's not super exciting bubble wrap. It doesn't really pop very well. So anyway, there's bubble wrap. Sprues, as I promised. Yeah, I don't know, man. They're kind of dope. I'm thinking that these probably aren't going to be the starter army that people were thinking. Like, it's not going to be a Betrayal of Caliph kind of setup. And the reason I say that is that it's not shaped right for the squad boxes. It's just like, I mean, you could possibly stick this in like a tank box or something. So, you know, maybe if they're going to have like large platoon kind of things, not only that, it's mixed. So there's some aberrants in there. There's the pure strain genestealer. It's just like a hodgepodge, and it's just not like you're not going to see this sprue like in an army box. I think this is just kind of like to whet the palate and get people interested. But the thing that kind of gets me is there are some there's a lot of these chests. Like there's let's see if we can see the chest plates. See those chest plates right up here? They look like they're universal and can be swapped out pretty easily. So do the heads. I mean, if you can see that. Ooh. So all these heads over here, it looks like they're going to be able to be swapped out. And it's kind of telling me that maybe there will be a squad box in the future. Maybe this is the test bed to see if people are interested and if there's like an army is a viable option. So, I mean, if that's the case, buy up as many boxes as you can, fool. But then, of course, if you're doing that, chances are you won't need any army boxes in the future, right? So it's kind of cool, though. There's 2 of these sprues, so... and it looks like there's rules in White Dwarf to use these in your Tyranid army as an ally force. Yeah, so going on to the Primarch. There he is. You know, I thought that the Primarch and Broodlord were going to be the same thing. Like the Broodlord was just like a... excuse me. That the Broodlord was going to be the new Primarch, but, you know, I was wrong. It looks like there's going to be a Primarch as well. Then we have the Magus. There's the Magus a little bit. He's Unipose, so it's pretty much what you see is what you get. There's a little familiar in there. There's a Primus. And, oh, I take it back. There's 2 familiars. But once again, if you notice, the head of the Magus is on that little ball socket, so you could probably do a head swap. So who knows? Maybe in the future, you know, they'll do a different model, so you can do some swappies. All right, so now we're on to the Marines. It looks like we have there's a Dark Angel. What I thought was really cool is that there's going to be there's a Blood Raven in here. You probably already knew that, but it's a Blood Raven Librarian. I don't know, man. They're becoming official canon now. I mean, we've seen pictures of them all over the place, but now they've made an official model for them, so that's pretty dope. It looks like some Cassius pieces. So we're gonna see. We got him, a Salamander's Terminator. Okay, I already vented, right? I already talked about the the torch on top of his head and how goofy that is. But I mean, look, like right here, if you're noticing. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing how you could swap out the. In this case, not so great, but you can swap out the shoulder pads, and I mean, almost like perfectly. Unfortunately, with him, you would have to get an entirely different arm, like the whole arm. Though it's a very cool and very different heavy flamer, it's still you can swap it out for something else. So you can turn this army. Around, like it doesn't have to be these characters. There's a bike. Kind of stoked about that. Like I never really saw Deathwatch as having a biker, but you know, why the hell not? They're supposed to be really prepared, so like your little special ops guys, they're ready for anything. So yeah, and looking at this, like I'm seeing like the old school bolters. I mean, I don't know about you, but I used to have the metal versions of these. So I mean, this harkens back. You could probably take, you know, like those. Oops, excuse me. You could probably take those old metals that you had and swap them around, throw them in here, and they wouldn't look too awkward. You know what I mean? So that's kind of cool. A little bit of consistency. Not that I was expecting otherwise, but you know, you never know. There are some classic characters, like we're seeing the Raven Guard guy. He has that really strange grenade harness thing. If you saw Shrike's model, so he has it. So this is kind of like standard, I guess, anymore for the Raven Guard or whatever. I do really dig that the power claws. It's hard to see here, but they have that little curved end, like a talon. Can you see that? It's a little hard, but yeah, it's dope, man. It's looking a lot like the yeah, just looking a lot like the yeah. So there's a Blood Angel guy. I'm pretty jazzed about. He does look kind of just like a standard Blood Angel. Dude, there really isn't like anything exciting or significant about him. But yeah, once again, I mean, looking at this. Looking at those arms, like it'd be real easy just to cut that little triangle off and put an entirely different arm on there. If you wanted to make him like a veteran sergeant, you could. Like it would just like take a second. So these could be just like really cool vets or whatever. So super cool. Whoa, what is this? Oh man, this is bizarre. I mean, I don't know how this plays out, but a combat ruler. I mean, I wonder if we're going to be seeing some modifiers in this game. Remember those? Like, we're talking, you know, like old school 2nd edition. We're talking like Blood Bowl. If any of you guys played Blood Bowl. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm just speculating here because I haven't really looked through the rules, but that's kind of nifty. I mean, I love modifiers. I thought that was like one of the best things ever. Like, I never really liked the AP thing, so just give me a modifier to your armor save. Like, I don't understand like that either you get an entire armor save or you don't. So now we're seeing some bio cards. Man, naturally the Deathwatch have a ton of them. Yeah, so it looks like, regular and then wounded. Huh. Like I said, I don't know how this works because I haven't read the rules yet, but I'm wondering if there isn't like, you're either full or everybody has 2 wounds maybe? I don't know, but it looks like assault dice. You get 3, 2, and then maybe you hit on 3s, you hit on 5s, you hit on 3s. Special rules, you probably look that up. Looks like a lot of these guys have litanies of hate. You can reroll 1s for Cassius and a Deathwatch model in the board section when they attack at assault range. I don't know. Everybody has a lot of personality, it looks like. I'm really curious to see how the game goes. I'm going to try and get a game in this weekend. So if you listen to our podcast, we'll talk all about it. So it looks like these are some event cards, perhaps, like some ambush cards. Oh, this is getting curious, man. I'm really at a loss here. I wish I had more to give you, But that's the basic walkthrough. Like we got our models, we got our board, we got our rules. You know, what else do you need? I mean, this thing, honestly, for me, just seeing that. I mean, I don't even know exactly how it works, but that's my excitement right there. Like, what's that all about? You know, it's not just he shoots 4 squares or anything. And heck, we're not even seeing squares. Now that I think about it, we're not even seeing squares on here. Like, it almost seems like we are just going, well, okay, we can almost count this as a square, and then that is a square. That might be a square. That might be a square. So maybe it's like sections. Like, that might be a section. This might be a section. But yeah, I don't know, man. I wonder if we're not going to be moving distances and, you know, like 2 inches, 1 inch, stuff like that. I don't see any range rulers in here, so maybe that's not the case. Anyway, so this is just a preliminary walkthrough. I'm ignorant as hell about this. I can just see this is what I just showed you, or tell you about what I just showed you. But check out the Mob Rules podcast. Check out our website, mobrulesmedia.com. And you can get to our podcast there. We might even take some pictures of this, put it up on the web. From there, you can also get some battle reports. You can get some narrative stories, some galleries and stuff like that. So we'll keep you up to date on how this thing goes. If you're on the fence about it, you can learn about it there. There's a bunch of other places on the web that you can learn about it. So I don't know, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks a ton for coming by and checking this out. So I'm excited. I hope you are too. All right, later.